Hello, and welcome to Inside Baseball. My name is Tim Brennan, and by way of introduction to this series, I thought it might be appropriate to start with a reading from a Roger Angell essay, counterintuitively called Farewell, as this is an introduction, but we're going to read from Farewell from April of 1964. And I think it'll give you a sense of what I hope to accomplish in this series. The Polo Grounds went under last week, and I had no wish to journey up and watch the first fierce blows of ball and hammer. The newspaper and television obituaries were properly melancholy, but almost entirely journalistic, being devoted to the celebrated names and happenings attached to the old ball field. John McGraw, Christy Mathewson, Mel Ott, Carl Hubbell's 5 strikeouts, Bobby Thompson's homer, Willie Mays' catch, Casey Stengel's sad torment. Curiously, these historic recollections played little part in my own feeling of sadness and loss, for they had to do with events, and events on a sporting field are so brief that they belong almost instantly to the past. Today's fielding gem, last week's shutout, last week's winning streak have their true existence in record books and in memory, and even the youngest and brightest rookie of the new season is hurrying at an almost inconceivable speed toward his plaque at Cooperstown and his faded, dated photograph behind 100 bars. Mel Ott's cow-tailed swing, Sal Magley's scowl, Leo DeRocher's pacings in the third base coach's box are portraits that have long been fixed in my own interior permanent collection, and the fall of the Polo Grounds will barely joggle them. Angell, of course, is a remarkable writer, a longtime essayist for The New Yorker with a real specialty in baseball. He passed away a couple of years ago at around the age of 100 or so. And he is one of my heroes when it comes to talking about and thinking about baseball. And in fact, he has another essay entitled The Interior Stadium, which I might get to at another time in this series. But it all brings up for me the idea that baseball is something that we carry around inside of us. It's in our heads. Those of us who are big fans, it's in our heads almost all the time. When we should be thinking about more important things, we're often thinking about baseball. There are a lot of ways in which we think about and curate baseball, if you will, beyond the playing of it. You know, we have our memories, we have our writings, we have music and art, we have all kinds of ways in which we kind of hold on to the game and keep it in our minds and in our hearts in all kinds of ways. So what I hope to explore in the series is the ways in which we have baseball inside of us. So inside baseball. Let me finish that reading of Farewell by Roger Angell. It's from April of 1964, and as you probably put together, it's at the time where the Polo Grounds was being destroyed, making room, well, not making room, but with the Mets moving from the Polo Grounds to the newly built Shea Stadium across the river in Queens. The Polo Grounds had no utility any longer and was being struck down. So let me finish this. I think you'll get a greater sense of Angell's ability to capture the feel of the game and the way that the game lives on in our heads long after the final outs have been recorded. What does depress me about the decease of the bony, misshapen old playground is the attendant irrevocable deprivation of habit, the amputation of so many private, repeated, and easily renewable small familiarities. The things I liked best about the Polo Grounds were sights and emotions so inconsequential that they will surely slide out of my recollection. A flight of pigeons flashing out of the barn shadow of the upper stands, wheeling past the right field foul pole and disappearing above the inert, heat-heavy flags of the roof. The steepness of the ramp descending from the speedway toward the upper stand gates, which pushed your toes into your shoe tips as you approached the park, tasting sweet anticipation and getting out your change to buy a program. The unmistakable final pluck of a line drive hitting the green wooden barrier above the stands in deep left field. The gentle, rocker-like swing of the loop of rusty chain you rested your arm upon in the box seat, and the heat of the sun-warmed iron coming through your shirt sleeve under your elbow. At a night game, the moon rising out of the scoreboard like a spongy, day-old orange balloon, and then whitening over the waves of noise and the slow, shifting clouds of floodlit cigarette smoke. All these I mourn, for their loss constitutes the death of still another neighborhood, a small landscape of distinctive and reassuring familiarity. Demolition and alteration are a painful city commonplace, but as our surroundings become more undistinguished and indistinguishable, we sense at last that we may not possess the scorecards and record books to help us remember who we are and what we have seen and loved. So, thanks for joining me on this first episode, and I hope to be able to provide more thoughts about inside baseball. Thanks.